I'm NichBoy and welcome to Pocket for Wednesday, the 27th of July. Today's show is brought to you by the letters NX, Z, and all the other letters, except for Q. No Q in today's episode, except for those two. Those were the last two. Alright, here's what's been making headlines, and first up, it looks like Nintendo's NX has finally leaked. Eurogamer is reporting that a number of sources have confirmed key details about the new hardware. First off, the NX is a high-powered handheld console with its own display, much like a tablet. However, Nintendo's hardware will feature slots at either end of the device, allowing players to plug in physical controls like joysticks and buttons. For home gaming, a dock station lets you send the mobile device's screen to a television. So we're pretty much looking at a Wii U 2.0 at this point, except all of the processing happens in the handheld unit. It doesn't look like the hardware will be able to keep pace with the PS4 and Xbox One either, but it will apparently feature Nvidia's powerful Tegra mobile processor. So we're pretty much looking at a Vita 2.0 at this point, except much bigger. Eurogamer's same sources also suggest that Nintendo is choosing to go with cartridges for their software. So we're pretty much looking at the DS 2.0 at this point, except it only has one screen. So it's the S 2.0. However, Nintendo have not made any official announcements which corroborate the details laid out by Eurogamer sources. But it all sounds pretty terrible to me. I imagine it's going to look something like this. And this is being generous. I'm going to ask the rest of the fools out in the Good Game office what they think about this a little later on. But first, Adam Boyes, the PlayStation Vice President, has found a new home. A few weeks back, Boyes announced that he would be moving on from Sony to work with a new independent team. Well, it turns out that team is Iron Galaxy, a prolific porting studio and lead developers of Microsoft's Killer Instinct. Boyes will join in the role of CEO, where he'll oversee further development of Killer Instinct and the studio's unannounced VR title they are working on with Epic. And another day, another swatting call on Twitch. This time the victim was streamer Summit1G, who was out in the park catching Pokemon. Partway through the stream, Summit notices that one viewer tells the chat to keep their eyes on the stream for the next 5 minutes, and he predicts the worst. Sure enough, the police rocked up soon afterwards.
Us? Okay. Alright, you want me to just keep going this way?
News outlet KKTV shared a recording from the police dispatch tape.
Suspect has an AK-47 or an AR. He says he's planted remote bombs in the park and wants to kill cops.
Summit and his friend were able to explain the situation to the police who arrived on the scene, and thankfully no one was injured because of this so-called prank. It's only a matter of time until someone gets killed by this adolescent bullshit, so please stop it. Alright, now it's time for Thing of the Day. It's almost as terrible as this. Overwatch's new character, Anna, can lock down enemies so hard they are forcibly removed from the game. As demonstrated by Yomus and friends, when 3 Annas sync up their sleep darts for 1 minute, their opponent gets dropped from the server for inactivity.
Look at this. It only takes about a minute for us to get him to get kicked by AFK warning. And you can do this on live servers and everything. You guys don't have to do this in custom games. And it's actually pretty easy to pull off. All you gotta do is hit one sleeping dart, and then everyone gets around him and keeps sleeping them. And as long as you don't have teammates mess with it or anything, if you have a full team of 6, you can just get people kicked from the game. Isn't that crazy?
Alright, so let's talk about this thing. Now, I am the first to admit that I was kind of hoping that Nintendo would announce something like this, where it was a portable console that could also be used at home. The reason I hoped that is because I was in some sort of weird brain space where I thought Nintendo can develop some crazy new technology that makes that actually a really great piece of hardware and also powerful enough to play sort of home console style games. And it sounds like it's probably not going to be that. The processor they have in it is the same one that they use in the Nvidia Shield. The Shield can pump out sort of 360 PS3 style graphics, and while this is still just speculation, the idea that I've sort of seen talked about a lot is that Nintendo might end up developing their own platform for that hardware. So it wouldn't be running on Android, it would be running own Nintendo software, which would mean you could probably pump out a little bit better graphics because it's so customized to the kinds of games that Nintendo would be making. But even then, it's still not something that I'm necessarily looking forward to seeing on my television. So then you go, okay, maybe it's not the home console I wanted. Let's look at the portable. Because for me, the DS and the 3DS, they are my current favorite portable console. Even though the Vita for me is a better piece of hardware, the DS just had more games and a better library of games. But then, if it's going to be something that they can break controllers apart and use those as controllers at home for multiplayer games and that sort of thing, you couldn't take the size of controllers on a DS and use those in your hands for any extended length of time. So they would need to be bigger, which implies that the whole thing will be bigger. And maybe it won't be this big, maybe it'll be, the size of an iPad mini or something, so a bit smaller there. This still feels like something that would be cumbersome to carry around, even when it doesn't have a rule or gaffer tape to the back of it. I want my portable consoles to be like the DS, where I can just put them in my back pocket while I'm on a train or something. I don't want to have to carry around a backpack to carry around a portable console. Again, we don't know if this is going to be the case, but it feels more and more like this is exactly where it's headed. And it feels like compromise, and compromise can often be a good thing. You're having a fight with your spouse, you want to compromise there. A good end in an argument is where everybody is unhappy, because that means that nobody got what they want. And what you want is probably not good for the other person. Nintendo, what you want is to make a really good piece of hardware. But I feel like you're compromising by going, we want to make both a home console and something people can take with them. So therefore, what you're going to make is not a good home console and not a good portable console. And it's also going to use cartridges. And I say no to cartridges. You can't put a good game on a cartridge that's gonna look incredible on a television. I don't want the Wii U to be where Zelda Breath of the Wild looks the best. And I think that it comes back to, again, it feels like Nintendo is making toys, right? That they've always made this hardware which, in the last 10 years has had a gimmick to it. And it's more about, how can we appeal to the broadest possible market with this? And this again feels like a gimmick. This is, it's something that you can play here, and then, Mom, Dad, look how cool it is. I'll snap off these controllers and then we can each play this once I plug it into the television, and we can all jointly be disappointed by the games that we see up on that giant, 60-inch 4K television. Graphics are not the most important thing by any stretch of the imagination, but they do count. As we saw with the latest Star Fox, they do count. But that's just my opinion based on all the rumors and speculation. I'm gonna see what the rest of the team think, starting with John. Starting with someone else. Baby Sam.
Hey,
Would you spend $300 to put this in your crib?
what is this?
This is our prototype for the new Nintendo
Right.
portable home console.
I would not. No.
Gog, you gonna buy that?
Not this,
No.
but I quite like this.
That was my plan. This is how I'm supposed to make money. Sunita, you ready to buy this?
No, I really don't care.
Sitsuki, you're the biggest Nintendo apologist in the office.
One of them?
Is this the thing that kills it for you?
Absolutely not.
No?
That is a thing of beauty.
Yeah. Dad, you actually think we're kind of spot on with this.
I think this is pretty close to the size we're going to get. Yeah, if you took off the, like you say, the bezel around the edge there, the actual screen size of the iPad, I think is probably, it's not far off. I think your controllers are a bit too big.
Yep. Hello, friends.
Hi.
How are you? New Nintendo NX. We got our hands on one. Would you buy that?
Yes, only to throw it in the bin.
Right. Are you interested in a new portable Nintendo console?
Absolutely.
Yeah?
I'm interested in all portable consoles. I want like a really meaty console that I can port around and have a good time with. But, we had the Vita and then no one made games for it.
Yeah.
So my dreams were dashed and destroyed.
Would you play with something this size or a tiny bit smaller?
What I like about it is it looks like it fits right into my pocket.
I think it's a really smart move by Nintendo. I think it's kind of consolidating the handheld space and the console space.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of like a system that will possibly, replace the 3DS and the Wii U, and they'll just go all in on this.
Yeah.
And it'll be both their home console and their handheld business in one device. I think that's really clever.
Maybe with a bit less dangly though. And what turns you off about this?
Everything. It's filthy.
Yep.
It
looks cheap. Does it work?
I think this is a pretty close interpretation of what I've seen of the the design that's been out there. But I don't think I'll buy the NX. I probably will, but like I don't want to.
I don't think I'll buy it. I probably will.
And the other thing, of course, is battery life.
Yes, that is a big one.
Especially with the NVIDIA Tegra chip, that much sort of power.
You might be only getting an
handheld.
hour and a half, 2 hours of juice out of it when it's not plugged in. Yeah, and that's not really a handheld at that point. That's just something you can hold in your hand that's flat. Would you want to spend a few $100s on some sort of like portable home console hybrid Frankenstein?
You know, I think I probably will. I do have a soft spot for Nintendo. I give them huge marks for effort. I think that they are always trying to innovate and make something that is actually really good fun to play with. And I think this, yes, it looks like it's going to be fun to play with.
Well, this doesn't, but maybe the NX does.
Oh, this is not the official first prototype sent to us?
Miyamoto didn't send this bad boy over.
Oh, surprise.
Look, I'm not much of a portable gamer personally. I put a lot of money into my PC. I have like every freaking console at home. And so I like my gaming environment to be self-contained within the space of my house. And when I leave the house, that's for other things.
Yeah, and you got those girls' jeans on, and they got shallow pockets. You're not fitting that as girl jeans, right?
Oh, I thought you meant girls' jeans as in like my genetic
Like your
makeup.
genetic,
And I was
yeah,
like, what are you trying to say?
Girls don't play video games.
You've got those girl jeans, which are like anti-gay. Yeah.
I've got some of those gold jeans. Looking at this, the only thing that worries me is it's not going to be able to play third-party games. That's what I want an NX to do.
Is it going to have a gyroscope?
It's got to be able to play Battlefield 4 or 5 or whatever.
It will not be able to, like, if the talk of the graphics power is to be believed, it's not going to play that. Also, possibly they're talking about the fact that it won't even be backwards compatible.
Well, it's going to have the same issues that the Wii U had and the Wii had, where it's like, you get Nintendo games and they're all great, but only the games Nintendo make for the devices are great.
Yeah,
and
all
just
the
about
third-party
everything
ones.
else is like a former shadow of itself or just some trashy minigame kind of thing.
Or you could save your money, get an iPad, strap some shit to it. All right, with it.
They're pretty expensive. They're probably more expensive than the Wii NX is going to be. The Wii NX, that's what I'm calling it. The Wii NX.
The wee neck.
Why does Darren just kneel there all the time?
He doesn't have knees.
Yeah. He's stout.
Okay, so that was more of a damning indictment on our gaffer tape job than it was a discussion about the future of the NX. Maybe I shouldn't have opened with, would you buy this? But look at it this way, Nintendo. I've set you a very low bar. All right, that's it for today's episode of Pocket. My Pocketeers, would you buy this? And I do mean this. And also, what do you think about the NX prototype Rumours? Is this something you would want to play? And while you're on the internet, check out Good Game on Facebook, YouTube, and iView. Want to meet fellow Pocketeers? Then join the Pocketeers Facebook group and Steam group. You can follow Good Game on Twitter at Good Game TV, follow Pocket at NichBoy, at Pierrot, at GG, at Monkey, and at SamG. There are links to everything I just said in the description below. Today's Thing of the Day graphic was made by Georgia McLeod. If you've made a thing, please send it in. Till tomorrow, NichBoy out. Mwah! Not a Q in sight. Hero among men. Internet man doesn't say words with Q for 10 minutes.